So, history is given by the mother. Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
History is given by the mother. 3-year-old baby girl with complaints of pain in abdomen since 2 months and fever since 2 months.
Yeah. Akshay,
Yes, sir.
in children, what are the commonest causes of fever?
Sir, most common cause in children is urinary tract infection. Then also upper respiratory tract infection can be caused.
Yes. So see, these are the two most important. Okay. And
Yes.
urinary tract infection is very common.
Yes, sir. First is upper respiratory tract
Exactly.
or
Most
LRTA, then
common is
followed
upper
by
respiratory
urinary
infection,
tract infection.
right? So if
Yes, sir.
yeah, okay. You want to ask anything else?
Sir, about the pain and fever, whether she had taken any treatment for the same, whether she is on any drugs, and also about the antenatal history, I would like to elaborate.
You must ask about the pain, na first. Where is the pain? Pain in abdomen.
Yes, sir.
Or where?
Yes, sir. Site of pain,
Nature of
and
the
also any aggravating relieving factor for the pain, and what was the type of pain, the licking or like in between cries she was comfortable, or during feeding she was comfortable, like that.
So the patient was apparently all right 2 months back when she started developing pain in the lower abdomen. Pain was mainly in the suprapubic region. It was dull aching, intermittent, non-colicky, radiating to the back and bilateral flank region, aggravated with a full bladder, and relieved partially with paracetamol. Fever low grade
Sorry.
associated with chills, relieved with paracetamol, and patient was taken to a nearby hospital where she was catheterized and given supportive care, after which she was referred to us for management with catheter in situ.
So,
In history, sir, I would also like to know why she was catheterized, whether she
yeah,
was having retention, or she didn't pass urine for how many hours and so. And
So
also,
we don't have details of why she was catheterized there, uh,
okay.
but it was a small hospital. But after she came to us, she came with a catheter.
The history was she was not able to pass urine. That is what the
Yeah, that's
mother.
what the mother says, that she was not able to pass urine, but we have no idea of any fact or anything.
Okay.
Okay,
And
Monish, I want to ask you
Yes.
one question.
Yes.
Okay, what is the difference between the history in infant and in the children whenever there is a urinary tract infection? How the infant will present?
So the infant, the urinary tract infection, the child will be very cranky, crying all the time, and
Very good.
fever will be there,
And
and so failure, not accepting feeds.
very good. And
Uh, the growth may be stunted.
no,
The weight gain and the height gain
it
may
is a
be.
chronic
Yes.
acute urinary tract infection.
Uh,
Lethargic type means what?
non-playful.
Yes, non-playful. That is the most important in children. Remember,
Yes.
yes.
after surgery, mother will come and tell you that he is jumping or she is doing this, and they are afraid that your surgery may fail. But if they say come and say that my child is very nice, not doing anything, sitting at one point at one corner, you have to be suspicious. Something is wrong.
Yes.
Understood? So that is the most important thing.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Anything else? See, one thing you understand, whenever history is given, you should not have a one track mind.
Yes.
As I told you, you are a doctor first, you are a surgeon, we are physician first. So any history is there, you have to evaluate that history. You people are keeping in mind that this patient is a urinary tract problem, and you are thinking in terms of that. No, first think about symptoms, how to evaluate, and the organ. Okay.
Yes.
So anything
What
else?
So I'd like to ask. So before the catheterization, was the urinary stream okay, or only she passed drop by drop? That thing I wanted to ask.
Why you are thinking like that? Why female child will pass drop by drop? What are the pathologies you are expecting or going in your mind?
The high-grade vesicuretic reflux present with lower urinary tract symptoms. So there may be uretrocele, which may.
No, you are not answering question properly. Dr. Gite is asking you what are the causes of passing, like as a dribbling or drop by drop. What are the causes?
So it may be a neurovesical dysfunction.
Directly.
Pardon, sir?
What are the common? Please talk about common causes.
So might be vesicuretic reflux or uretrocele. So ectopic ureter.
Why in vesicuretic reflux in female child will pass drop by drop? Is there any obstruction in the urethra in vesicuretic reflux?
So VUR may cause a megacystis megaureter syndrome, in which when the bladder contracts, then
very rarely and very delayed.
Yes. So might be a ectopic ureter due to that.
Sir, bladder bowel dysfunction.
Ureter.
What is the most common?
Sir, I'll answer.
He is asking you what is the most common cause?
BBD.
So bladder bowel dysfunction is the most common cause in a toilet train, or which you are supposed to toilet train. There can be two causes, anatomical or functional. Anatomical, as Monish elaborated, it can be in a female child like this, in a 3-year-old female. If it is a large uretrocele obstructing your bladder neck or ureteric orifice, sometimes we may rarely able to see the actually uretrocele from the opening of the urethra as well. And
that is prolapsing uretrocele.
Yes.
Prolapsing uretrocele or pseudo uretrocele.
Yes. And neurofunctional wise, as he mentioned, drop by drop urine can be because of neurogenic bladder. It can be because of bladder bowel dysfunction or dysfunctional voider.
And no infection. If the patient gets a severe urinary infection, even the lower tract, there will not be she or he will not hold urine and pass drop by drop.
Yes, sir. She may.
So you will be surprised. After circumcision, the child will not pass urine for 24 hours. He will hold it.
Yes.
Because of pain.
Yes. Pain.
The same thing is true for urinary tract infection. If there is urinary tract infection, they are so much afraid that they will go into retention, and then they will pass drop by drop.
Yes.
Understand?
Yes.
Then second thing is about all these things. Can there be a stone?
Yes, sir, stone disease. Yes, sir, stone disease may also present in pediatric age.
Then okay. What else?
Brown-Belly syndrome. PBS in male as well as female, covered PBS.
Yes.
Yes.
Akshay, can you just pass? You can just repeat all the causes.
Yes, sir.
Systematically, yeah.
Yeah, anatomical or neurofunctional. Anatomical, it can be a large uretrocele.
Urinary tract infection, stone, and then you go on this stone.
Yes.
The acute conditions.
Most common will be the bladder bowel dysfunction and urinary tract infection. Also, there will be large uretrocele, that is prolapsing uretrocele, which can cause dribbling micturition in a 3-year-old female. And neurogenic bladder, one of the component. And lastly, but not the least, megacystis megaureter can be one of the reasons for that.
And as sir said, Brown-Belly syndrome and
Brown-Belly syndrome. Yes.
And calculus disease.
In olden days, the patient may present like a CCF due to untreated hypertension. Okay, but nowadays it is very rare. But in olden days, it is possible to present patient with untreated hypertension leading to the congestive cardiac failure as well as in renal failure.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, sir. So associated symptoms.
So usual presentation at this age is lower urinary tract dysfunction. Yes. Pain in abdomen with lower urinary tract dysfunction is the usual presentation.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And in infant, sometimes the mother will say it's a very foul smelling urine.
Yes.
So three things are very important: fever, Okay, lethargia
Yes. Yeah.
in children and foul smelling urine. Okay, tell me, go ahead.
So associated symptoms and negative history. Patient's symptoms are associated with dysuria, pyuria, increased frequency, urgency, decreased stool, decreased appetite, weight loss, lethargy, malaise, and nausea. Patient has not got any associated lithuria, hematuria, weight loss, or constipation. Birth history, developmental history, and personal history. Patient was a full-term normal delivery at the hospital. No history of any prenatal, intranatal, or postnatal events. Birth weight was 2.5 kilograms. Developmental history. Patient attained all milestones as per age. Immunization history is normal as to date. Appetite is slightly decreased. Bowel habits are normal and no comorbidities.
Yes. Monish, you want to ask anything else?
So any antenatal scan was done, any sonography.
Very good. Why? Why it is important?
So in case of a PUJ obstruction or even a vesicouretic reflux, there may be a antenatal hydronephrosis or hydroureteronephrosis.
So any urinary congenital or anomalies, there are chances that during prenatal there will be some sort of hydronephrosis will be seen,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Something else you can ask nowadays. Sonologists, they see what they see. They see nowadays the sonography is so good that they see that in the full bladder, is there any increase in the diameter of pelvis or pelvic LSL system, or there is any fullness? That also they see. Of course, it is not diagnostic, but it will just give you a clue.
Yes.
Okay? So that is also very important nowadays.
Yes.
Okay, that's a good point you asked. But there was no history. Anything else?
No history of any prenatal, intranatal, or postnatal events.
Okay.
Whether
Any
I
family
would like-
history if in any elder sibling or
No.
family history of any similar complaints?
How it is related?
So in case of so vesicouretic reflux or
Why you
ectopic
are thinking
ureter,
of
ureter.
vasculotic reflux? Why you are thinking in terms of vasculotic reflux?
Sir,
You
a
are aware
3-year-old
of this
child.
case?
No, sir. In case of a
What is the
3-year-old
most common?
child,
What is the most common cause of urinary tract infection?
sir, in an infant less than 1-year-old, it's 70% of time it will be associated with vesicouretic reflux.
Very good.
So, sir, in this case, so we are suspecting a abdominal pain and fever. So, I'm considering vesicouretic reflux as a differential diagnosis.
That is one. So okay.
I would also like to rule out whether ask whether there is any abdominal lump palpable or whether it was any abdominal lump, because in case of PUJ obstruction also sometimes there can be a lump palpable and patient may present with pain and fever.
Fever.
So PUJ is one of the differential diagnosis in this case also.
Yes. Always.
Sorry, I was unmuted. Good evening, everybody.
Hi,
Sir,
hi.
Good evening, sir.
Hi. Sir was just telling what all the sonologist can see. Just to that, I would like to add a point that they can see bladder cycling also.
Yes.
They
Yes.
look at the fetal bladder. Like sir said that they see the AP diameter, which is a very important point because that helps in further prognosis. And what was the congenital AP diameter? And they see bladder cycling, and also they will report about hydromnias.
Yes.
Good. Fine. So anything else you want to know about this? What happens to bowel habits? Monish, can you tell me?
Yes, sir. This so lower urinary tract symptoms and fever, it might be associated with gallbladder dysfunction or constipation.
Why it is very important? Why you want to ask about bowel habits, and is it going to help you in your treatment?
Yes, sir.
No, it is helpful before. It is helpful in planning the treatment. It is affecting the result of the treatment too, because the antibiotic prophylaxis, continuous antibiotic prophylaxis, endoscopic treatment of VUR, if it is associated with BBD, the results are not good.
Yes.
Okay, resolution of the reflux is not easy when it is associated with BBD, as well as surgical results are also not too good compared to the without BBD. So the treatment of bladder bowel dysfunction or bladder dysfunction should be parallel or prior to the, going for treatment of vasa-occlusive reflux.
Yes.
That is the
At the
that is
same
the story.
time, as a in the conservative line of treatment, also you have to treat bowel habits.
Yes.
So
Yes.
these are the three important reasons you should know, all of you. Okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Because anything you talk, the examiner, if it is relevant, the examiner is going to ask you why you are asking this question, and you should be ready with that answer.
And you must ask this is the first event or second event. Second event. फर्स्ट टाइम ही हो रहा है कि इसके पहले भी कभी होगा हुआ है ऐसा ये पूछना चाहिए सिमिलर कंप्लेंट्स इन पास्ट बिकॉज द इट इज while investigating the repeated UTIs some few more investigation you have to add in that. If it is the first UTI, then you have to tailor investigation as per it is first or second UTI or third UTI or fourth UTI, as like that. So have you asked
Yes.
that history?
Sir, actually, she mentioned there is no postnatal event, therefore we didn't ask, but we need to.
Yeah. Yes.
No, no. Postnatal event may be anything, but same complaint, pain in abdomen and fever in the past.
Yes.
Okay.
So it was not there. This is the first time in two.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll go
Yeah, go ahead.
on general conscious cooperation.
Your screen is not there.
My
The screen is there, but yours it's not. Yes.
okay.
Voice is breaking, sir.
Okay, now?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Patient is conscious, cooperative, well-oriented in time, place, and person. Karnofsky score is 90. Height is 85 centimeters. Weight is per minute. BP febrile at present. Pallor is present. No icterus, cyanosis, clubbing, lymphadenopathy, or edema. Skull spine normal. Should I go ahead?
Yeah. Go ahead.
On systemic examination, on inspection per abdomen, the abdomen is scaphoid in shape with centrally inverted umbilicus, no dilated vein, sinuses, fistula, or scar marks. There's a 10 numbers Foley catheter in situ. On palpation, on superficial palpation, there is mild suprapubic tenderness, but there is no raise in temperature. On deep palpation, abdomen is soft, no organomegaly or lump. Renal angles are normal. Percussion, there is no free fluid. Genital areas are normal, apart from the Foley's catheter. Respiratory system, CVS and CNS are all normal.
Yes. Akshay, anything else you want to ask?
So rectal examination, whether the rectum is loaded or not, that can be.
How will you do rectal examination in children? How will you do? Which finger you use?
Little finger will be used.
Always.
Yes.
Better you ask to the mother na, about the stool habits.
So, but on examination, history-wise, we have asked. So she told there is no constipation. But on examination to complete the.
On palpation, if it is loaded rectum in child, it can be palpated also.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Another thing is flat tenderness, palpable kidneys. If it, in case of the male, that is intact prepuce and with same symptoms indicates towards the some urological problem like suprapubic tenderness, flank tenderness, palpable kidneys, presence of uncircumcised penis in male and palpable bowel. Okay. So these all things are indicative towards the urological problems which causes the UTI in children.
Yes.
So in this girl, we had not done a DRE. She was not allowing. So we have not done DRE.
Yeah.
So in spine examination.
Exam also, in exam also, if you have not done a DRE in children, no one will blame you. Don't worry.
No, don't worry. You can always say, okay, sir, I have not done DRE in this patient.
Yeah.
So also in spine examination, I'd like to know in detail, like whether there's an abdominal tuft of hair or the sacral dimple was normal, the gluteal cleft.
Yeah, everything was normal, Monish.
Okay.
Yes. So now what to Akshay, what you think? What will be your probable diagnosis?
Sir, she is a case of urinary tract infection, catheterized for probably retention of urine outside, for which I would like to keep the differentials for urinary tract infection in the form of first will be vesico-ureteric reflux, which
Very
is
good.
most common, around 50 to 70% of
Yeah.
the patient present with febrile UTI, and after that I'll there'll be PUG obstruction.
70% present only in the infant age group.
Yes.
At this age group, only
50%.
25%.
Okay, sir.
At the age of 4 years, associated VOR at the age of 4 years, associated with UTI is only in the 25%.
30%. So what Dr. Gite is telling you, what you said is right, that out of 100 cases of urinary tract infection, 70% will have VUR. Correct?
Yes.
What Dr. Gite is saying that in case of VUR, if you consider only VUR, then in infant, you will get more than 70% will have, they will present as urinary tract infection. That is how you will find out. And in children, out of 100, 30 will present with infection. You understood the difference?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, this is the difference what you are talking. Fine.
Yes.
Very good. So your first
Also,
diagnosis
other
is
VUR, second will be it can be stone disease, PUG obstruction,
Yes.
ureterocele.
Don't forget PUJ.
Yes, sir. PUG obstruction, ureterocele.
Yeah.
Whether it can be a duplex system or some congenital anomaly in the form of megaureter or neurogenic bladder.
Probably the child did not have any retention. They would have just catheterized like that only.
That's what I
Maybe.
asked her, but I don't know. We don't know the history. Sir.
Correct. Correct.
fine. And the last, always a stone.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I told stone.
Yeah.
So how will you proceed then?
So like to evaluate the patient in the form of investigating her as a urine routine and serum creatinine and CBC.
How will you
And
collect the urine in children?
so if it is she's a toilet and she follows the instruction, then midstream sample.
Midstream.
If
Yeah.
not, then even a catheterized sample, putting a IFT
What is the
in a
most
silver,
ideal?
suprapubic catheterization.
Very good. Suprapubic, not catheter, just puncture.
Aspirate.
Aspiration. Yes.
Aspiration. Just aspiration, then you can send it. Second will be
So catheterization per urethra.
Under all aseptic record.
Then how result differs? Result of urine examination, how it differs by the way of collecting the urine?
So in suprapubic aspiration, even if single bacterial count is
Single count.
significant.
Or 10⁻⁴, you mean?
So 10.
10 colonies. 10 colonies. 10 colonies.
Yes.
And in blood catheter sample it is
10⁻²to 10⁻³
Correct.
and more than 10⁻⁵ will be
voided sample.
1000 to 10⁵.
yes,
Yes.
And in midstream
more than 50,000.
10⁻⁴ in symptomatic and 10⁵ in asymptomatic.
Yes.
remember all these values. Okay.
We will definitely ask.
Because these are very simple questions and basic questions. You must know.
Yes.
So the first step in evaluating any patient who in whom you are suspecting UTI is collection of urine and basic microscopic examination. Routine microscopy. You prescribe urine routine and microscopy. What that routine means?
Yes. Dr. Gite, someone has asked, please repeat. So Monish, can you, whatever Dr. Gite said, can you repeat? Start from
Yes, sir.
suprapubic periurethral catheter midstream.
The suprapubic 10⁻⁴ colony count, significant.
Yes.
And so in midstream urine, it is 10⁻⁴ in symptomatic and 10⁻⁵ in asymptomatic.
correct.
Very
And
good.
in bladder,
And sir, urethral catheterization 10 raised to 3, 10 raised to 3 to 10 raised to 5.
Okay. So don't fix
1000
very
to
clean.
1000 to 10 raised to 5.
Yes,
Anything,
Okay.
anything up to that. Okay.
yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So what is in the urine routine? You
So
usually prescribe na urine routine and microscope. So
yes.
what else, what you see in that urine routine?
It will be
Because,
divided into
In olden days, we have to do urine examination by ourselves.
so it will be divided into gross and microscopic examination. Gross
Yes.
examination will see the color of the urine, whether it is
Yes.
hazy, turbid, yellow color, and whether there is hematuria, there is red in color. And also in gross examination, will gross and microscopic. Gross will see
The most important
crystals,
thing is whether it is a
whether
foul
any
smelling or not.
So
smell and crystals are present. Lithuria, whether any calculus is seen or not. Gross examination.
okay.
And in
Okay.
microscopy, we'll see pus cells.
Most important thing in the urine routine examination is presence of nitrate positivity or not,
Leukocyte
leukocyte
esterase and nitrate.
esterase
Yes.
positivity is not positive or not. If these both the things are positive, then only any patient is symptomatic and you have to go for culture.
Yes.
Okay. If these things are negative, suppose the urine nitrate is negative, bacteria is negative, leukocyte esterase is negative, then you can observe with the patient if patient is not so much symptomatic or sick, that such type of child can be safely observed.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is the examination should be with basic urine routine examination. And important findings in that urine routine is leukocyte esterase, nitrate, and presence of bacteria.
And also we'll see pH, specific gravity.
Yeah, rest
And in
all
my
the things, but these
okay.
three things are important.
Okay, sir.
Akshay, I want to ask you one question. In
Yes.
newborn, when you will do creatinine and urine?
Sir, after 48 hours we'll do, sir, creatinine, because this can reflect the maternal values, sir. Therefore,
Right. And urine? You know, many times for 24 hours, child may not pass urine. So you will also, that also you'll do after 24 or 48 hours. Okay? So please remember.
Okay.
Fine. Okay.
So tell me what are the risk factors for UTI in girl as well as in boy. So tell me first in girl.
sir, most commonly it will be if it is not toilet trained, if it is a child, then fecal soiling will be the one of the common cause.
Improper.
Okay.
Improper hygiene.
Hmm.
And apart from that, the things
So
we have mentioned,
so
VUR.
non-toilet trained child is risk factor in both girls as well as boys. Okay. Another thing is uncircumcised circumcision in male
Yes.
and temperature more than 39 degree, temperature more than 24 hours, and absence of other reason for the temperature. If you are not able to find other cause for temperature, then you can blame it for the UTI.
Okay.
Yes.
So the causes you ask will be almost the same that we have mentioned. Apart from in males, phimosis, posterior urethral valve will be added. Sir.
Yes.
Yeah. Fine.
Okay.
And what are the chances of vesico-ureteric reflux? Where you find what, male or female?
Same, both actually you can find VUR.
Antenatal,
Sir,
antenatal, male or female?
So in first year of life, it is more in the males, the VUR and associated pyelonephritis. And then after the first year, it is more common in females.
Yes, 70% in female and 30% in male.
Yes.
So antenatal and prenatal, if you go to see, it is more common in male.
Females. Yes.
Yeah, but as a child becomes more than
as
one
the
year,
age advances, the males decreases and female chances.
Female.
When will you say it is a complicated UTI?
Pardon, sir?
When will you say it is
Complicated UTI. Definition of complicated UTI.
So if it is associated with any anatomical abnormality,
very good.
so associated with stone disease, so associated with indwelling catheter,
And
neurocycle dysfunction.
male child.
Yes.
Okay, Monish, what is the meaning of reflux nephropathy? What do you mean by reflux nephropathy? Sometime you might have read it. Reflux
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So due to reflux, one is the
What is the
mechanically the bacteria are translocated from the bladder to the pelvic LHL system.
What is the triad? When you say reflux nephropathy, what is the triad? It is fever,
So pain, fever, and
fever, deranged renal
Creatinine.
function, and proteinuria.
Yes.
These are the three things.
Yes.
Understood?
Yes.
Fever, proteinuria, and deranged renal function. These three things together is reflux
nephropathy.
Okay, now what else you want to do? Yes, sir.
As sir has asked the reflux nephropathy, I may go forward and classify the reflux nephropathy.
Yes.
Pardon, sir?
Classify reflux nephropathy.
Classify the reflux nephropathy.
Okay.
So reflux nephropathy is either congenital or acquired. Okay.
Congenital can be because of renal dysmorphism, and it can also be because of renal atrophy or multicystic dysplastic kidney. These can be various causes for congenital reflux nephropathy, and acquired can be because of VUR and obstructive pathologies more of, which can lead to scarring and hypertension and proteinuria.
Very good.
Yes.
So the congenital
Yes,
is more common in male.
No. I just
And-
wanted to. I wanted to rectify. It was not a fever. It is hypertension, proteinuria, and deranged renal
Deranged
function.
renal function.
By mistake, I said fever. Okay, so these are the three important things. Remember, hypertension, proteinuria, and deranged renal function is called reflux nephropathy.
Remember, when nephropathy comes, it's a medical term. So these things have to come in, the hypertension and proteinuria.
Proteinuria, yes.
Why I asked the classification? Because while seeing the DTPA, whenever there is a global reduction in the photopenic area of that kidney, there is a large photopenic area and global reduction in the size
Global
of the kidney.
can be because of congenital.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or
that you must be able to differentiate it. And
Yes.
whenever there is a polar or only with or without disturbing the contour of the kidney, then that
Reflux
is
nephropathy.
usually acquired.
Yes.
Okay.
Manish, can you tell Dr. Gite has told you this? Okay.
Yes.
That if it is a diffuse, you have to think of this plastic kidney. That is what he meant.
Yes.
And if it is a polar, it can be because of reflux nephropathy or because of reflux and infection.
Yes.
Why it is like this?
So in the polar, the anatomy of the fornix is such that the collecting tubules, the direction of the collecting tubules is the urine can directly enter and
So they are
cause the
what?
reflection.
In alignment with the
They are concave
tract.
or convex?
So concave.
Concave.
So
Concave.
there are
Very
two type of calyces.
Yes.
convex.
Whenever there is a compound calyx, the entry of the urine, that entry of the collecting duct to the papilla of the calyx is exactly opposite to each other.
Perpendicular.
Okay.
Yes.
And papilla and collecting duct exactly opposite to each other. That is in one line. So
Yes.
the transmitting the infection and forming the multiple small abscesses, later on fibrosis, and later on the scarring, and later on hypertension is more common in that compound calyx. And compound calyces are usually at the pole.
Yes.
Okay, so that's why there is more common at the site of upper pole or lower pole. There is more common photopenic area. In case of other side, there is a convex calyx is there, and there oblique entry is there. Oblique entry of the collecting duct to the papilla.
Yes.
Like ureter, how ureter is entering into the bladder, same way this collecting ducts are entering in the
This
calyx.
anatomy you must know.
Okay, so for everyone's there is a simple and there is a complex. Simple is convex and complex is concave. And this
Yes.
concave makes 30% of the calyces. And they
Yes.
are at the polar region. And there the duct is entering perpendicular. Whenever there is a reflux and infection, it directly enters into it and it will cause scarring. So at the polar region, you will get scarring. Then it is because of reflux and infection.
Yes, sir.
Plain reflux without infection will not cause scarring unless and until the pressure is too high. Like in which condition? Akshay, can you tell me?
So posterior urethral valve, anatomical or no,
So
functional? I mean that
whenever there is too much of
obstruction, bladder
intravesical
more than
pressure,
40 centimeters of
yes.
water.
Yes. So that is a time when there will be a reflux at a very high pressure. Okay. And that time it may cause. So this is what Dr. Geete wanted to tell you. Fine?
Yes.
Okay. Good. Now what else
So
you want to do? Yeah.
in the labs, actually, she came multiple times, but in general, her urine routine was hazy, had plenty of pus cells, 6 to 8 RBCs, albumin, and occult blood in traces. Her hemoglobin was around 10.2, TLC was 14,220, and creatinine was 1.34. Urine culture sensitivity was positive for gram-negative bacilli, Acinetobacter species.
So Manish, why hemoglobin is low?
So
She's
it
not
might be due to the reflux nephropathy. Might be due to the chronic renal involvement.
Exactly, CKD. One is a CKD. 1.34 in 3 years old child is very high creatinine. And second second reason is Akshay, what is the
It
second
can also
reason?
be because of nutritional anemia, which is most common in our country. Maybe that one of the
But
reasons.
in this case, she has got infection. So that infection can also give rise to
The anemia of chronic disease.
septicemia, all these things.
Yeah.
Remember, both the things are in front of you.
Yes.
Very important. Okay. What else, Tanvi?
What they haven't asked me what they want.
Yes. Okay, Akshay, what else you want?
Sir, I'd like to do a
Now you are
ultrasound.
suspecting, as you said, the first
Urinary tract infection,
UVR.
UTI. Yes, sir.
UTI secondary to
Secondary to vesico-ureteric reflux, first diagnosis. Second,
So it is a first UTI in this child.
yes, sir.
first is a urine tract infection, most probably due to
Vesico-ureteric reflux.
Second,
Other causes I would like to rule out after ultrasound.
so she is
of the-
catheterized. What else you think of?
Urinary tract infection due to the long-standing catheter.
No, she had a fever before that.
Yes.
So what is the cause? What are the causes of retention in female child? What else it can be?
Can be because of bladder bowel dysfunction or neurogenic causes.
So you are thinking in terms of this, correct?
Yes.
Fine. So now what else you want? What is
Ultrasound abdomen and pelvis for special focus on the KUB region.
now, okay, in which way you want to
This
go?
is the culture.
You are not interested in sensitivity?
So they have
Culture
told
and
Acinetobacter.
No, sensitivity.
Acha, oh,
She
sorry.
has told the drug, the organism. That
Okay.
Acinetobacter is organism, not a drug.
Yes, sorry. Sensitivity pattern I would like to know, and accordingly I will ask also whether they outside they have started on some antibiotic oral or so.
Yes.
And, yes,
So
sir.
Monish,
Parallelly, you must start the antibiotic also.
antibiotics. Monish, in infant, what is the
Yes.
choice of antibiotic?
In infant, Septran may be given, sir.
No, first
No,
tell
try
me,
methoprim.
first 2 months, 1.5 months.
So
Trimethoprim
first
or
1.5 months it will
amoxicillin,
be trimethoprim, and
First 1.5 months, which drug?
Trimethoprim or
amoxicillin,
amoxicillin. These are two
amoxicillin or
choices.
trimethoprim.
Amoxicillin.
Yes.
First 1.5 to 2 months, only amoxicillin. After
Yes.
that, up to 3 months,
Trimethoprim.
4 trimethoprim.
Cotrimoxazole, Septran.
And after that,
After that, nitrofurantoin.
Nitrofurantoin or cephalosporin
4
group
trimethoprim, nitrofurantoin.
or cephalexin can be added. Sir.
and cephalexin group of drugs can be given.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So please remember, if the child is, if the infant is only 1 month or 1.5 months, even in a private practice, when it comes, don't give other, just give amoxicillin or
Amoxicillin.
ampicillin.
Yes.
Okay. So remember
Yes.
these three sequence. Okay.
Yes.
Very good.
Sulfamethoxazole is avoided in the first 2 months because of the hepatic immaturity, sir. So therefore,
Yes.
they are unable to clear that from livers.
Right.
Therefore, we avoid.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. Now in here, which drug you like to give?
Sir, images are blur actually.
Please read the sensitivity.
Can you just read out susceptible?
Tanvi, can you
Out
just
because
say?
it's little, yeah, I'll read it.
Yeah. Which are the sensitive drugs? Just tell them.
So piperacillin,
Piperacillin, tazobactam
yes,
is there. And
piperacillin. Yes, can you hear me?
Your voice is breaking.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
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 Okay. Yeah, cefepime is sensitive. Then piperacillin, tazobactam is sensitive. Then ceftriaxone and sulbactam is sensitive. Carbapenems, that is meropenem, and meropenem is also sensitive.
okay. So ceftriaxone is
Now
also
can
sensitive.
okay, I'm repeating.
We'll start around.
Piperacillin, tazobactam, ceftriaxone, cefepime, and all carbapenems, that is meropenem and
No problem. Akshay, which drug you like to give?
Sir, we'll start on ceftriaxone, ceftriaxone injectable, sir.
sensitive.
Okay, ceftriaxone.
Yes.
So fine. So you give that.
As
Not
per
responding,
our
then
weight, she's 12 kg. So
She's
we
3
will
years
start.
old.
Pardon, sir?
All voices were breaking.
Yes.
okay. Now can you hear it properly?
Yes. Yes.
I'll just summarize. Ceftriaxone will start 750 milligram injectable intravenously BD as per her weight. I'll just confirm with the pediatrician.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is always remember that only drug is higher compared to adults in children. We always think that if we are giving 1 gram BD, then we should give 250 or 500 in children, but it is exactly opposite. In children, you give higher dose. Okay, ceftriaxone. Sure. Fine. Very good.
This is the sonography.
So
Anybody wants to read?
Can't see
No,
actually.
Not
and
seen.
it is not coming, Tanvi. Yeah.
Akshay?
Yeah, just a minute. There is a gross hydronephrosis with. Actually, I'm not able to see right or left, but I am able to see just hydronephrosis moderate to gross, and also the pelvis is filled up. That is the thing I can say. And
But all the pictures you can see that both the kidneys, correct?
yes,
Fine. And what about the cortex?
cortex is thinned out.
So basically, there is a
Right,
gross
left, I can.
hydronephrosis
Yes.
and thinning of the.
Thinning of the cortex with gross hydronephrosis, and also bladder is distensible with probably lower ureteric dilatation.
But the bladder is okay. Can you see on the left hand side lower down the bladder wall? Is it thickened?
Yes, it is looks thickened. Sir.
Thickened.
Looks thickened?
Yes. Sir.
Are you sure? And the surface is smooth? Or can you see any diverticulum? What is that dilated part in the bladder on the lower side?
So might be a dilated lower end of ureter or it might be
Yes,
diverticulum.
yes, yes, very good. Okay, Tanvi, just show the report. Tanvi, can you hear us? Tanvi?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you.
Okay,
Can you
I'm
show the
sorry.
report?
Actually, I'm not at home. Yeah, can you see the report?
No.
No, not.
To the next slide, Tanvi.
Now, can you see the report?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the findings are suggestive of bilateral pelviureteric junction obstruction with moderate hydronephrosis on both sides. The right kidney is 10 by 4.8 centimeters, left kidney is 11 by 5.4 centimeters. Oh, sorry, this is the wrong. And a urinary bladder shows chronic cystitis with
7 year
post-void
old
residue
female.
45. This is
Report.
the second USG, I'm sorry.
This is a 7-year-old female. On history, it was 3-year-old.
No, all this in named and everything is perfect. They would made a mistake.
Don't
So
worry.
the
The
important thing-
sonologist will write whatever they want about the age. Don't worry. That.
Exactly.
In the film,
Consider
you
3 year
can
only.
see on one side ureter is nicely dilated, the bladder film.
Yeah.
Yes.
The
The report and images are not matching actually.
Yeah, but on the film you can see, no? Forget this.
Yes, we can see the dilated ureter or lower ureter.
Dilated ureter. One side, sir showed you whether it is diverticulum or ureter, but the other side, right side, you can see nicely dilated ureter.
Yes,
Yes.
they have not
So
mentioned about the
best thing is,
hydroureter.
what I am suggesting you is that never believe on sonologist report. Sometime you will get carried away and you may not be able to diagnose. Okay.
See, in
So
this film, which Tanvi has put the slide back on the right side, in the lower films, on the right side, you can see the ureter is dilated nicely.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
Okay, so now you know the sonography. You yourself have read it. Forget the sonologist report. Now
even
what
in the
are you going to do?
even in the right side, can you see on the right side of the field,
Correct.
the
Correct.
rightmost, on the left hand side also the right lower, and even in the right hand side you can see the ureter,
Yes, sir.
bladder, and then there is a ureter. Can you see one lining?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yes.
this is most probably bilateral dilated ureter with the
So I'll
bilateral
just
hydronephrosis. Fine.
yes. Bilateral moderate to gross hydronephrosis with thinning of the parenchyma with hydroureter,
Correct.
and bladder wall seems to be smooth. But thickness cannot be commented on.
So
Right.
now, how will you like to proceed?
Suppose. But
Yeah.
okay. How will you proceed? Okay, no problem.
Sir,
So first, I would like to treat the urinary tract
What you want
infection.
to do, and then I will ask Monish.
Sir, I'd like to start. Already we have started her on antibiotic. After she settles with her TLC counts are also 15,000 and she has history of UTI. After that, 3 to 5 days of IV antibiotic, I'll plan a VCUG for her. Um, as she is a female child and febrile, she presented with febrile UTI. So I'd like to rule out vesico-ureteric reflux in this case. For that, I'd like to do a VCUG for her.
so she has
Yes,
presented with the category. She is presented with waste TLC. So under cover of antibiotics, you can do it now.
Yes, sir.
Monish, you want to do something different?
Why not?
So I would like to treat the urinary tract infection, and I'd like to confirm that with the urine routine and culture. And after 1 week of the negative culture report, I'll perform a VCUG.
Okay. What is
And
above, above, down?
So I'll
say
follow below down
top-down
approach.
approach.
Yes.
Yes,
No,
ma'am.
In
no.
top-down approach, we can go first with the DMSA scan, and if that shows scarring, then we'll go ahead with the VCUG.
So you don't want to follow that?
So
Give me a
about
reason. Why you don't want to do it?
So about 30% of significant vesico-ureteric reflux are missed by the top-down approach.
No, I am telling you, yes, you have diagnosed on sonography. You know it is of most probably vesico-ureteric reflux.
Yes.
But you don't want to subject this child again to infection and trauma.
So, but this is the first episode of UTI. So, for the scarring to set up and to show on DMSA scan, it will take about three to 6 months.
No, are you going to operate this child?
No, sir, not at this moment.
Then by doing VCUG, are you going to become wiser?
By
So
doing,
we'll come to know about the exact grade of the reflux and
So how it will help?
bladder anatomy.
Okay, so how it will, yeah, agree that it will show the bladder. Then I am asking you, I may be
Yes, sir.
wrong.
Yes.
I want to know from you because your knowledge is more. Okay. So if the reflux, the grade of reflux, is it going to
Yes.
help you in your treatment?
Yes, sir. So if it is a very high grade reflux and if she is having breakthrough infections, even if we start the low dose antibiotic prophylaxis. So then in case of high grade reflux, we may think of intervening. But if it is a low grade reflux, then we can continue with the antibiotic prophylaxis.
So Manish, what are the chances of reflux regressing?
So it depends on the grade of the reflux. So about the grade 1 and 2 reflux, so about 80% of times it will resolve. And so about grade 3 reflux about 50% of the times. And grade 4 and 5 reflux at 20 to 30% of the time, there's chances for resolution.
so grade resolution of reflux depends on age and grade both.
Very
Up
good.
to, yes, sir. So as he mentioned about the grade, that is almost correct. Just for grade 4 and 5 will be 9 to 20% resolution of reflux.
Yes.
And as far as the age is concerned, majority of the reflux resolved by the age of 5 years. Only 20% of the reflux are left with after 5 years of age. That is because of the UVJ remodeling that occurs maximum up to the 5 years of age. Therefore, 5 years is the cutoff.
That
And
is
I will do a bottom up approach because it will give me both anatomical and functional imaging. Anatomical to, as he said, is to grade the reflux and to prognosticate in future how she's resolving on antibiotic prophylaxis also. If I have a baseline VCUG, then further I can
Here
manage.
there is a classical indication of doing the VCUG.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
There is a bilateral massive dilatation of the
Number one, there is a
All
hydronephrosis.
children less than 5 years of age with febrile UTI, any male. Okay, sorry.
Listen. Ultrasonography suggests of hydronephrosis oblique hydronephrosis, one positive finding.
Yes.
All males with any febrile UTI, first febrile UTI, second febrile UTI, leave it. All males with febrile UTI, there is indication for VCUG.
Yes.
Okay. So here, the females with second and third febrile UTI, which doesn't have anatomical changes in the ultrasonography. That is another indication. Here, female which ultrasonography suggests of hydronephrosis bilaterally. Maybe, may not be with hydronephrosis. One. And another thing is she had a febrile UTI. So ultrasound finding with febrile UTI indication for VCUG. As far as age is concerned, age less than 1 year, start with ultrasonography. If it is findings are suggestive, then go ahead with VCUG. If findings are suggestive, then DMS. That is the bottom-up approach. 1 to 5 USG and DMSA, top-down approach again. If DMSA is suggestive, then VCUG. More than 5 year, ultrasound only. And if the findings are there, then VCUG or DMSA can be done. So these are the, as per the age criteria, all febrile UTIs, all recurrent febrile UTI, all three investigations. If the recurrent febrile UTI, all three investigation, USG, VCUG, DMS, all three should be done. First febrile UTI with ultrasound finding, yes. If you are going from below up, ultrasound and VCUG, that one plus minus DMS. Okay.
Yes.
So here is indication, classical indication for going doing the VCUG. So you should tell in the exam, if examiner asks why you want to do VCUG, there is ultrasound suggestive bilateral hydronephrosis plus minus hydronephrosis. I want to rule out it. Whatever it may be PUJ with VUR. Again, there is 20% chance of VUR. So I want to rule out VUR.
Yes.
And
Yes.
patient had febrile UTI. Everything is there, na?
Sir, suppose this patient ultrasound was normal and she is a female 3-year-old and febrile UTI. So
First febrile UTI, ultrasound normal, no issues.
No
First
VCUG.
febrile
Sir,
UTI, ultrasound normal, no VCUG.
sir, there are two consensus. First is Campbell says that less than 5 years of age, all febrile UTIs VCUG should be done. And now AUA has expanded its
Yes.
second
Current guidelines,
second
ultrasound
febrile.
normal, first febrile UTI, no VCUG.
Okay,
Second
sir.
febrile UTI, VCUG.
Okay,
Yes.
sir. Akshay, we'll move on now.
Okay.
Okay.
Why in the meantime, when we did the sonography, she again got a bout of fever. That time the urine routine was again hazy with plenty of pus cells, 6 to 8 RBCs, occult blood in traces, and albumin present. Hemoglobin was the same almost. Counts were normal, but creatinine had come down to 1.17. Maybe after one treatment of UTI, we don't know how. And now this is the VCUG.
It's not a very good,
Yeah, sorry, it's not a perfect film.
but you can see on the left hand side and both.
Yeah, this is a
What is the-
post-war film.
Yeah. So, Akshay, can you tell me the grade? Patapat, and
So
using
so
which grade
bilateral.
you're responding?
Yes, sir. This is left sided film shows bilateral grade 4, grade 5 reflux, sir.
So, what is the grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, grade
Grade
5?
1 is the
For everyone
grade 1.
sequence. Yeah.
Yes, grading is based on the International Society for Reflux Grading. It's given by Leibovitz and et al. It is grade 1 is reflux in non-dilated ureter. Grade 2 is reflux in non-dilated ureter and pelvis without dilatation. Grade 3 is reflux in with mild dilatation of the ureter and fornical blunting, minimal fornical blunting. Grade 4 is moderate dilatation of the ureter with loss of hydronephrosis, dilatation, and grade 5 is tortuous ureter with
Yes.
loss of papillary impression and dilatation of the calyces.
Correct. So this
Kinking
is
of the
grade 5,
Can you see
massive
both the lines? Do you
passive.
see the tortuosity?
Can you see my arrow?
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, so I'm tracing the ureter. See this right ureter,
Tortuous,
Yeah.
grade 5.
Tortuosity.
grade 5, and see this left ureter like this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and one more kink here. Okay.
Bilateral grade 5.
So how will you rule out PUJ in this?
Sir, there doesn't seem disparity in the diameter of the pelvis and the ureter. So probably PUJ obstruction is not there probably. And
Actually, there may be a secondary PUJ obstruction due to the kinking of the ureter.
Yes.
Correct.
The kink itself, multiple kink is a cause of obstruction at
Yes.
every level. So now what we will do?
So what are the, sir,
Yes.
Yes.
this question usually asked in exam.
Yeah.
How will you rule out PUJ in on MCUG? So listen, 3 factors you have to take into consideration. Whenever there is a dilated ureter, but pelvis is not seen dilated, or contrast is not reaching to the pelvis, that is one indication. That may be due to either PUJ or kink due to the VIVA. Two causes
Yes.
for not contrast not going to the pelvis. Two causes. First is kink, secondary to the VIVA, and another is the PUJ. Okay. Second
Yes.
cause. Second thing, contrast that enters inside the pelvis but poorly visualized.
it gets diluted.
Get diluted with the large pelvic column. That is another indication of PUJ. Third, large pelvis that fails to excrete completely in the postvoid
Excrete.
film. Or
Delete.
the contrast is retained inside the pelvis in the drainage film, after drainage film. If all these 3 findings are there, then you can safely say that this patient had either a primary PUJ or secondary PUJ. The PUJ is there. Then what are the
Yes.
causes of secondary PUJ?
Secondary PUJ, sir, it might be due to the vesicuretic reflux, or it might be due to the kinking of the ureter, which is leading to the obstruction at the pelvic junction.
Yeah.
Other causes will be lower polar crossing vessel, or it can be due to retrocaval ureter. To enumerate.
Secondary PUJ in the vesicuretic reflux.
Okay.
Whatever you are telling the causes, they are already congenital. Here, I am asking the causes due to the vesicuretic reflux. So, high grade reflux may cause a kinking in the upper ureter or at the level of PUJ. That is one reason for having a secondary PUJ.
Yes.
Okay, another cause is chronic effect of reflux. That is, if it is a gross high-grade reflux, then that stretches the renal pelvis, ultimately leads into the atonicity of that pelvis. The propulsing power of the pelvis is slowly come down, and enable that renal pelvis will enable it to propel the urine into the ureter.
Yes.
Okay, so these are the two causes: atonicity of the pelvis and kink caused by the gross reflux at the level of upper ureter or PUJ. These are the two causes for secondary PUJ obstruction in VIVA.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Fine. So now what you want to do? Onish, what you want to do now? I'll tell you DMSS scan is not done. Okay. And so probably that should have been done. Please, in exam,
Yes.
as Dr. Gita said, in such cases, you must talk about DMSS scan. Fine.
Yes.
This is what
Yes.
is not done here.
Is,
Okay.
is it sufficient to do only DRCG in this?
Pardon, sir?
DRCG.
DRCG.
Direct radionuclide cystography.
Sir,
RH
usually the
radionuclide
first scan should be preferably a VCUG because it gives more anatomical detail. So the radionucleotide scan can be used in the follow-up or after surgical
But people
intervention.
will say more sensitive than VCUG.
It can be used in siblings to check for the reflux. It can be used in follow-up after surgery, as you said.
Because
It will avoid radiation to gonad. Why not primarily?
So
We
the
cannot
anatomical detail between the grade 2
Yes.
or 3 is
It
not
will
Only-
categorize only in three grades:
radionuclide.
grade 1,
only-
low grade, and high grade.
Yes, though no exact grading and less anatomical details. That's why not used primarily to evaluate the vesiculatory reflux and usually used in the follow-up of the
Yes.
vesiculatory reflux.
Yes.
so there are what are the indications? Then Dr. Gita has asked you. So now I will ask you, what are the indication of doing RNC?
So radionucleotide
Same,
scan.
RNC is same, huh? Radionuclear
Yes,
cystography.
yes.
Yeah,
So one is in the follow-up of the patient
very good. That is
on
follow-up.
antimicrobial prophylaxis.
Yeah.
So second is after surgery, you have to assess whether it is resolved or continuing.
Okay.
Also
so
in
follow-up.
siblings.
Basically, you want to do it in follow-up. And
Yes.
second thing is if you are afraid of radiation.
Also
Yes.
in
It
siblings,
has
sir.
already undergone lots of radiation, then the
Yes.
radiation will be less. That is only.
Yes.
So these are the two basic investigations.
Yes.
Your causes. Correct?
Yes.
Fine. Okay. So now what you like to do?
So I'd like to ask if the child is still febrile or she has
So
responded
now
to the
she's
line.
not febrile.
Now she's fine. Treated.
Okay.
Can we just show them cystourethropy? In VCUG, just show them. Can you see something
This?
in the bladder?
This?
Yes, so there is actually a filling
Also on the
defect
right
kind
hand
of.
side, just see the bladder. Is it absolutely normal?
Some contrast is.
Some filling defect kind of thing is.
Yeah, not feeling defect, but it is not absolute. Yes, it is quite normal. It is not appearing like a neurogenic bladder.
Yes.
Absolutely. But still, there are some diverticular that surface is not very good.
Yes.
In that case, will you
One
like to
thing-
rule out?
One thing important thing we are missing is probably bowel preparation is not good, sir.
Yes,
All
it is
bowels
not.
are
No,
filled with
that's what I
gases. So
think.
we need to address
Nahin,
that
nahin.
also while treating.
Yes.
That indirectly suggests of she had a bowel problem also. Look
Yes.
at the coils of the bowel. It are all were distended, small, large, as well as stomach shadow is very large. Probably in so it is colon may be distended and stomach shadow is also very
Very big.
distended stomach.
Yes.
Yeah.
She has got that problem.
Yes.
Also, the bladder neck opening we are not seeing properly.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that-
anyway, so what we like to do now?
So like to
Uh,
counsel the mother. First we'll do DMSA in this case. Then
No, it is not done. I agree.
okay, sir.
It should be
Just,
done. What else?
we'll counsel the parents as she is having grade 5 reflux bilaterally.
Now she had a query retention. You like to rule out something else, and this bladder is not absolutely normal, absolutely smooth.
You need to start her on
It
laxatives
looks,
and diet modification. Probably that might be a reason for a retention. We don't know.
What are the absolute contraindication for doing anti-reflux surgery?
so one is bladder bowel dysfunction.
So you could have done a video urodynamics, no? You can tell, sir, would you like to study the bladder?
You will not like to, because if you do in that, it will fail. Right or wrong?
Yes, sir.
You could have done a video urodynamics. You could have suggested. Secondly, every X-ray, again, you all are missing out, not commenting on bowel preparation, bony architecture. During examination,
Yes.
you all are talking about spine and the spine, how it is palpable and how it is placed. Then in X-ray,
Yes.
you comment it. No? It completes the examination.
Yes.
If you talk about palpation and any spinal deformities and prenatal scan and this and that, when real X-ray is given to you, you're not commenting anything about bony architecture, bowel preparation,
Correct.
contour of bladder. You're only concentrating on reflux. So many things are missed. An examiner will definitely see such a dilated stomach. Gide sir has nicely pointed out. If you cannot see, it looks like a big hourglass stomach. So big it is.
Yes.
Yes.
So the uroflowmetry is, as you can see, the voided volume is 125.4 ml, peak flow rate is 11.9 and average flow rate is 0.5. And we did a urodynamics because we wanted to rule out neurogenic bladder.
So in a case of bilateral grade 5 reflux, would the urodynamics will be indicated or we should wait?
Yes. Urodynamic will be indicated because urodynamic will be done by putting catheter inside the bladder. Another one important thing is uninhibited bladder contraction is the most common finding in high grade reflux.
75%.
High grade primary, yes, 75%. High grade primary reflux, which is clinically, neurologically normal type in 75% of the cases. And if that patient had uninhibited bladder contractions, it will hamper your results also. So you must do a urodynamic study in a patient who is having a bilateral high grade reflux and suspecting the secondary, probably more importantly in the secondary reflux. Patient with any spina bifida, then posterior wall, then before surgery in a patient of VUR, which is you are suspecting the VUR is secondary to some anatomical problem. Here, if you are planning for the surgery and if you are suspecting some anatomical causes for that VUR, or if you are suspecting bladder bowel dysfunction along with, in terms of that is distended bowel, some constipation, in such situation, better to go ahead with urodynamic study.
So Monish, in this case, patient was catheterized.
Yes.
Then, as you can see, as sir said, her bowel and everything is dilated, correct?
Yes.
And in
Yes.
this case, okay,
Yes.
the bladder is not absolutely fine. Would you like to do urodynamic study or not? Because if it is not proper, if she has got some neurogenic bladder or dyssynergia, like
Yes.
syndrome,
That-
then we will not go ahead with the surgery.
there is a no classical indication given in book for doing urodynamic in this patient, but considering his X-ray KUB, X-ray picture which shows dilated bowels, and usually Indian children and mother doesn't give history of constipation too common, in spite of asking also. So there are chances of constipation too. Plus that she is presenting with some inability to pass the urine. Why that catheter is placed, we don't know exactly the reason. Here there is some plus minus situation, so better to go ahead with urodynamics.
Yes.
Okay.
So first you have to treat the bowel bladder dysfunction and the constipation, and then do a urodynamics, or directly we can do the urodynamic study.
Yes.
How will you treat that?
So we'll be treating the constipation. One is dietary advice, high fiber diet, and
All that
secondly,
is long term, man. Just now you need to establish, no? Patient has come to hospital, has got a catheter, UTI, counts are high. You're doing a study. Will you like to keep on doing studies again and again? You have to
so right now, if she's having fever and constipation is there, then
whenever all these congenital anomaly cases come now in the exam, examiner loves all these things. Bowel preparation, urodynamic study, CSIC, all these neurogenic problems, all CSIC is the answer. They love to hear all these things. If you miss it out, you are going to be in trouble.
So now,
You can
So-
treat it in the hospital. You can give one laxative or enema, whatever you like. But
anybody is known about that Swedish study, reflux study or trial? In that study, this patient had a lower urinary tract dysfunction, symptoms of lower urinary tract dysfunction. That Swedish reflux trial showed the patient who is having a lower urinary tract dysfunction on urodynamic, 9% had an overactive bladder and 24% had a voiding dysfunction. The child which is having a lower urinary tract dysfunction along with febrile UTI, in that Swedish reflux trial, 9% had overactive bladder and 24% had a voiding dysfunction. So, is there need of doing urodynamic? Yes or no? Then tell me.
so now one clue Gite sir has given you by quoting a study. I'll ask you one more question. If you don't do urodynamic study, what will happen? You've done the bilateral reimplant, patient got a dysfunctional bladder. Now what will happen?
There will be persistent reflux, sir. Their surgery is not indicated per se in such case.
exactly.
Do you want to make the bladder low volume,
Low pressure.
low
Yes, sir.
pressure or not?
Yes.
What will you advise then?
CSIC will be one of the options, sir.
I told you now, everywhere the answer comes to that only.
CSC and
problems.
And
As per as the
anti-muscarinic, CSC and antibiotic prophylaxis.
so antibiotic prophylaxis,
But eyes can only
antibiotic prophylaxis, bowel, correct? You will correct
Yes,
that also. Constipation, you will see that child will be never constipated.
Yes,
Third thing will be CIC, right?
Yes, sir.
And
Yes.
anticholinergic. So these are the
Anticholinergic.
four things. Whether you
Yes.
do conservative line of management or whether you do surgical management also, you are going to look after all these four things. Four things must come very fast. Okay? That is
Yes.
CIC, antibiotic, anticholinergic, and laxative. These are the four
Yes.
things. Okay?
Yes.
So now we have done this, and I'll just to cut short. There is no stress urinary incontinence, and there is no, as you can see, there is no
Bladder
bladder
outlet
outlet obstruction. Okay?
and bladder capacity slightly large with post void of 150 and detrusor is overactive. Okay.
Yeah. Here
Word is
again,
300.
detrusor is overactive.
Yes, sir.
Sir, our bladder capacity is quite large. As per as their age, as per the cough formula, the bladder capacity
Okay,
should be
then what is the
150.
bladder capacity? Tell me.
150 cough formula, age in years plus 2 into 30. So her capacity should be around about 150 ml. Her is 466 as per the UDS finding. It is
So
quite
here, how
large.
much
One thing,
increases capacity?
Why it is increased?
because of the neurogenic component of the bladder.
Without neurogenic component also, can it be increased?
So it may be the megacystis megaureter syndrome, sir,
Yes.
due to the high grade view.
High grade VOR, the urine is not complete in this cycle.
Yes.
There is a remaining urine inside the bladder. Post-void ratio increase, and the size also.
Yes.
That is one reason.
Fine.
Whenever you are reporting urodynamic, just remember basic properties of bladder. All those you should address. Proprioception, capacity,
Compliance.
contractility.
Yes,
If
sir.
you keep these things in your mind, you will read the report automatically. Whether the patient had the sensation or not, what was its capacity, what is the pressure, what is the contractility, how is it emptying. Simple. Filling phase and voiding phase. Okay, go ahead now.
Now, what will you do,
What
Akshay?
we will do? Akshay, you tell me which are the methods of treating.
Sir
First
has
we'll-
not done the DMSA, but is there is a role of DMSA or not?
Yes, DMSA should be done.
Then what is meant by acute phase DMSA?
During the February episode of UTI, we do that DMSA under antibiotic cover.
Yes, within the 2 week of febrile UTI, when DMSA is done, then that is called as acute phase DMSA. And DMSA after the 4 months from the treatment of the UTI is called as a interval phase DMSA. These are the two type of DMSA. And on the DMSA, what you will see?
So we'll see for the photopenic areas, which are mostly suggestive of the renal scarring.
So photopenic area with the loss of contour, without the loss of contour, or global reduction. These are the three type of findings. Already we discussed. Already
Yes.
I told them.
Yes.
People nowadays receive some new examiner come, then he will interested in top-down approach because everyone want to avoid the VCU. So you must know what is top-down approach.
Yes.
Yes.
So you do ultrasonography, you do DMSA scan.
DMSA. Yes.
If the DMSA scan, if there is only polar
You will start with the
scars, that means it is because of reflux and infection. And if it is a diffuse, it will be because of
Congenital.
Congenital causes dysplasia.
the dysplasia.
Yes.
Understood?
why people were interested in top-down approach, because everywhere since years together we were doing bottom-up approach in terms of VCUG as a starting investigation.
So
so
top-down
it's a
approach came
invasive-
because of to avoid radiation exposure to check for the siblings, as it is found that VOR is having autosomal dominant in it, and to check for the siblings also, and in follow-up to see for the grading of the reflux to avoid radiation.
Okay.
That is one thing. Another thing is by doing a VCUG in each and every patient, we were identifying the VOR that might not require the clinical significance as well as the treatment. That will resolve as its own in the very low grade, and up to grade 3 it will resolve by the antibiotic only, continuous antibiotics. So in such patients, over diagnosis and over treatment can be avoided by going from above. Okay, if there is a scar on the DMSA or in such situations only, we have to go for VCUG, and approximately 50% of the VCUG can be avoided. People are claiming nowadays 50% of the VCUG can be avoided by going from the top-down approach. But it is expensive and availability issue. And in top-down approach, 5 to 20% of significant VOR can be missed. These are the pros and cons of top-down approach. You must
Yes.
know
As
the
per
pros
Dr.
and
Gupta
cons
is
of
telling
top-down
you,
approach.
I will tell you that if there is only a first attack like this, and if you want to say in exam, the examiner will like to hear that first you will do DMSA scan, and if you are, even if you are sure, okay, this is a reflux, you do DMSA scan. If it is showing scarring, then you do VCUG. Okay.
So, but in this
if you are
case,
suspecting grade 4, grade 5 reflux and there is infection, in this case you are justified to say, sir, already there are dilated ureters, severe hydronephrosis. In this case, my conservative line of treatment may not be successful. I will like to do VCUG. Okay.
Yes.
But otherwise, if you are not able to, if it is a moderate dilatation, then you can go ahead with DMSA. If there is no scarring, you will say, I will do a conservative line of medical line of treatment. So I don't want to go ahead with this. If the child develops second infection, I will immediately do, and I will decide for the surgical line of treatment. Okay?
Yes.
Fine. Okay, now what do you like to do? Tell us. What are the different methods of treatment? You tell me. Akshay, you tell me 3 things. Which are the different line of treatment?
Sir, ruling out in this case, ruling out the neurogenic bladder, and that is taken care of up to 5 years, and still she is having grade 5 reflux. Then in future we may plan a surgical management if she is having a febrile
Tell me
breakthrough
which are the
UTI.
different ways of treating.
Surgical management.
No, not surgical. Is it there is a role of
Okay,
conservative?
endoscopy. Yeah, the First, there is a
Conservative,
antibiotic prophylaxis, that is chemoprophylaxis
medical,
after 5 years, and medical,
conservative, medical, and surgical.
endoscopic, and surgical, sir.
So conservative, when you'll do conservative?
Up to 5 years of age, we will conserve the patient with antibiotic prophylaxis. Then again, after 5 years of age, if she develops febrile breakthrough UTIs, then we may plan a surgical management for her. And in endoscopic,
Medical line of treatment, what will give?
low dose antibiotic prophylaxis at night time, and in her we'll give nitrofurantoin 1 to 2 milligram per kg dose at night time, low dose.
Okay.
On antibiotic also, if she develops febrile breakthrough UTI, then we may plan a surgical management after 5 years. Okay, we'll try to conserve up to.
So tell me
5
4 things what you will give in medical line of treatment: antibiotics, anticholinergic,
and
laxative. Correct? These are the 3 important things.
Also, sir, we'll monitor the patient. Every
Yes.
3 months, we'll be doing urine routine microscopy with culture, and 6 monthly, we'll be doing sonography, and 1 year or 1.5 year, we'll be doing the DMSS.
Very good.
No. Nowadays, doing the DMSA as well as doing the VCU to assess the resolution of vascular reflux, people are not doing. Until and otherwise patient had a febrile UTI or signs of UTI, then after that evidence only we have to go for either DMSA or DTP. As far as whatever rest you are told, that is okay. Urine routine, urine culture and ultrasonography, that is okay. But as far as DMSA and VCUG is concerned, no repeated VCUG, no repeated DMS.
No,
Until
sir,
and
no
otherwise
VCUG, yeah.
patient had a clinically febrile UTI.
See, 3
Yes.
monthly, irrespective of fever, whether it is, even if it is not there, you have to do urine culture.
Yes.
And as doctor, see, ultrasonography will do. And if there is any indication, then immediately you will do VCUG or scan. Understood?
Yes.
Okay. Fine. So now what are the surgical approaches? What are the different methods?
The surgical, sir, one is intravesical and extravesical approaches. In intravesical, there is suprahiatal
What is
and
the role of
infrahiatal.
endoscopy?
So endoscopy can be done in lower grade of reflux, grade 1, 2, or even 3. So it actually uses a.
What you are going to use?
So
What
deflux
should be the
procedure.
quality? What is the quality? Means what the substance will use?
What is the
So
quality
it is
of
deflux dextranomor hyaluronic acid. It is actually biodegradable, and the procedure is known as sting. That is sub.
So what is an ideal one? What are the characteristic of ideal?
So
it should
ideal
be-
one should be it should be durable, and so it should be cheap, easily available, and it should not migrate.
Tell me.
It should be non-toxic, easy to inject, viscous enough to prevent leakage, and it maintains the injection volume. That is important.
And it should remain liquid inside.
No, viscous, and it should be encapsulated with
And-
fibrous fibroblast and all.
No. Once you inject, it will remain as a liquid, semi-solid.
No.
It
It
will
will
solidified.
calcify and it will
What are
cause a
the-
lot of. It will cause a
Fibrosis.
lot of problem if you want to do a reimplantation in a patient who underwent some deflux prior. That deflux will get calcified and there is a lot of fibrosis and lot of problem while operating on doing the reimplantation post deflux. Okay, so the deflux is usually failed in case of the such type of patient who had a grade 4, grade 5 VOR, who the patient who had a bowel bladder dysfunction, patient who had a failed reimplantation, duplex system, recurrent febrile UTIs, better not to use deflux.
Yes.
Dr.
And the type
I am
of
just
drug-
asking them one question. What are the ideal? What is an ideal substance to use? What are the qualities?
what are
Yes,
the
I wanted to know from them.
So I'll just
1, 2,
enumerate:
3, 4, 5.
non-toxic, easy to
Okay.
inject, which causes minimal inflammation, and it maintains the injected volume.
And it should
Should be
solidified inside.
yes, sir, and it should be encapsulated with a fibrous tissue around, and it should be viscous enough to prevent leakage.
Okay. So what are the techniques?
India.
So one is the subureteric Teflon injection, that is called the sting, and so the other techniques are the hydrodistension and implantation. Hydrodistension technique, that is HIT, in which we
Hit or double hit.
hit and double it. Yes, sir.
Yeah. What happened to that volume if Deflux is used?
It reduces by
so
around 25%.
by about 3 months.
So 80% of volume absorbed after the few weeks and 1% volume reduction after the end of 3 months. So near about 20% volume reduction at the end of 3 months.
Yes.
Yes.
Fine. So now you know about Deflux, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what are the different surgeries?
The surgeries, so extravesical and intravesical.
Okay.
Extravesical is Leach-Gregor technique. And in intravesical, there is suprahiatal and infrahiatal. In suprahiatal, there is Politano Leadbetter and Gil Burnett. And in infrahiatal, there is Cohen's cross trigonal technique.
Okay. So normally where you like to put it?
Each one you tell. What sir is asking, each one give an indication.
Sir, in case of bilateral sacroiliac reflex like this one, then the Cohen's cross trigonal would be preferred.
Why?
It provides a long tunnel for the ureter, and without causing any kinking of the ureter.
So
Sir,
But
what are
but if this patient develop postoperatively stone in the waves or lower ureter, then what you do?
Yes,
Difficult.
so that will be
ureter supplement.
difficult to catheterize the ureter, but you can use a flexible cystoscope or a ureteric catheter with a curved tip.
So it's flexible, is available everywhere.
I had a patient which Dr. Shyam Joshi sir had done when
Cohen's.
born with ectopia vesicae and had a Cohen's cross trigonal, and she was fully functional lady at age of 28. After delivering one baby, she presented with lower ureteric stone. 3 urologists failed. I had flexible and everything, all the expertise. I could not get into that orifice. So it is not that easy because of the kink.
Theoretically, whatever you are telling is right, but practically what sir is telling is right. It is not easy.
And I did the puncture, then medial calyceal puncture, and went with flexible all the way down to the ureter.
Yeah.
All the way down and broke the stone.
Okay. So now tell me, what are the basic of reimplantation? What are the different things you will
Principles.
The principles, there should be adequate mobilization of the lower ureter. Secondly, so the intramural tunnel of the ureter, 5:1 ratio should be maintained.
Most important point you missed: adequate mobilization with intact blood supply.
Yes, sir. Adequate mobilization with intact blood supply. Second thing, the ratio of 5:1 should be maintained. That is length to the diameter.
Who has given that ratio?
Packin.
Yeah.
And so there should be minimal handling of the bladder to avoid the post-operative spasms.
What about the kink?
Attention should be given to entry point of the ureter. It should be direct.
There should not be kink.
Kink.
Yes.
What
And
has
where
sir
to do
done?
the implant?
Picture which is there on the screen. What has sir done to that ureter?
A tapering of the ureter.
What is this technique? What is it?
One is star
What are the types of tapering?
There's going to excision tapering, that is star plication, and second is Henry Anderson's technique. In that you just fold and suture.
That's
And
imbrication
excision we
technique.
do in star plication, sir. Over 10 French IFT.
Fine. Then where you will fix it? Ideally at the fixed part of the bladder, right? So
Yes.
now start proper mobilization, enough of mobilization with preservation of
Blood
blood supply. That is number
That's
one. Correct? The length
Yes,
should be 1:5, right? Intramural.
Yes.
Third thing, there should not be any kink. Tapering. Which
Yes.
side you will like to do? Which side will cut? Lateral or medial?
Lateral, sir, because medially there is blood supply from the
Correct.
superior
And you will fix it to where the most fixed part of the bladder. So usually it is a trigon. Correct?
And
Yes.
practical tip: if you are tapering the lower ureter, the tapered part should be intra as well as extravascular.
Yeah. Okay, so these are the 6 important points you have to say in exam,
Yes.
Yes.
right? Okay,
Yes.
now we have done reimplantation of ureter. What are the complications you are likely to get?
Question,
So
Yeah.
complications
can you
post.
calibrate with?
Which
Yeah,
which
how you
which,
calibrate?
which procedure done, sir? Polytunnel lead better.
Yeah, tell me what we had done. Modified, na?
Modified Leach-Gregor.
Modified leaf Gregor we had done.
Yes.
And tapering was by excision. Here.
Now, one thing I want to show you. Can you see the ureter? Tell me, show earlier slide. See, it was so tortuous. When we
Yes.
removed the tortuosity, you can see it was going right up to the knee.
This
Can
is
you
the
see?
knee of the patient.
Okay.
Yes.
So, if you don't remove this tortuosity, okay, and even if you do reimplantation of ureter, there is functional obstruction at every kink, and the
Yes.
hydronephrosis and all these things. So, once you make it straight, you see that infant feeding tube goes very easily inside. Right?
Yes.
And which number of infant feeding tube you will put it inside to calibrate?
10 French.
Yes.
Because you want
Fine.
5:1 ratio, na? So according
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, we can check whether by passing the infant feeding tube, there is no obstruction
Why
and
not?
jet of urine.
Why not bilateral polytunnel lead battery?
Sir, there can be post-operative chances of
Sir,
retention.
more chances of kinking of the lower end of the ureter in
Why?
polytunnel lead better.
Why? There is one of the complication of that polytunnel lead battery while
Yes.
making the hiatus, new hiatus. But it does not happen in each and every patient na, in everyone's hand. That's अगर वैसा होता था तो that was the most described and done procedure all over the world, and that was probably the first procedure in that first time done in 1959, and till now also people are doing.
So in tapered ureter, it will be difficult to deliver inside the bladder and do intravascular.
There is answer in my question only. Why it is not done bilaterally in this patient?
Obstruction, kinking.
Bilateral
What will happen?
polytunnel lead battery. What will happen? Is it related to problem related to some nerves?
Sir, extravascular, if we do, it is related with retention of urine post-operatively because of the nerve supply of the bladder will be hampered, sir,
Yes.
because of excessive mobilization.
Polytunnel lead battery is extra intra both combined. It is not only intravascular.
Yes.
Okay, so while dissecting the ureter from inside out and making new hiatus bilaterally, it will cause post-operative. There are more chances of neurogenic element inside that bladder.
Yes.
Acquired neurogenic element
Yes.
secondary to the dissection bilateral. That's why the polytunnel lead battery usually people will not do on both sides. Whenever we have to do a bilateral implantation, either it is modified Leach-Gregor or Cohen. People will do Cohen.
Yes.
Okay. So, okay. Anyway, now so you know all the 3 different things mainly. Fine. So
Yes.
what are the complications?
I'm just
So
Immediate and delayed complication. Immediate complication in the form of bleeding, hematuria, blockage of catheter,
Yeah.
and obstruction and persistent of the reflux can be one. And delayed complication there will be again persistence of reflux and obstruction.
Yeah. Now I'll tell you what.
reflux in the opposite ureter.
Yes. Now we can see the digestant is properly placed inside.
see after 3 months, no, she developed leak from the left side wound and fever and pain in abdomen. Now we don't have time, so I'll show you whatever we investigated immediately. So that time we did X-ray KUB, which showed the bilateral stents in place. We did sonography, which again showed bilateral stents in place over here. Can you see? And there was no collection or anything. Hence,
But it was
we also did
continuously
obviously.
leaking. And it was a
Correct.
urine. Okay.
Okay.
Then we
So now
did
what
blood
we'll do?
report.
What will be the cause?
in on
Yes.
March
What is the
18th,
cause?
that
Dr. GK asked you. What is the
Sir,
cause?
What will be the
ischemia,
cause?
ischemia will be the cause in the lower ureter.
After 3 months. After 3 months. Can you hear?
Yes, sir.
After 3 months, ischemia. All these things are very early. Whenever it is anything delayed, it is because of one is infection, second is obstruction.
Yes.
So infection and obstruction both were there, and her bladder was palpable. So we had put Foley's catheter inside. After 3 or 4 days, the leak stopped. Infection, everything went away, and we started treatment. Okay.
time
Yes.
her culture sensitivity came Burkholderia capacia, and her counts were increased. 12,200 became 14,000. Then we had started antibiotics and all based on culture sensitivity. Slowly the count started coming
Down.
7,000,
Yeah.
and creat is normalized almost 0.81. But
Now
lead
because of that, we told her mother to do CIC because she was going into repeated retention. Okay. But
Yes.
after few weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, she refused it. She had some bleeding. Okay. And now they stopped it. Now
So
again, can we show the last one?
yeah, so
Now this is 3 days back.
Just 2 days back, again, sonography was done, which showed bilateral moderate to gross hydronephrosis with significant changes of chronic cystitis and post-void residue of 60 cc. And again, so right now, just yesterday, we made her do labs. Her TLC is again slightly raised, 16,000, and her culture is pus cells with gram-negative bacilli, Pseudomonas aeruginosa. And creat is again increased slightly to 1.12.
So now the last question to both of you,
Yes.
and Dr. Gite sir will conclude what you will do in this case.
She's not
So we'll treat the urinary tract infection first, and after that we'll repeat the urodynamic testing. Whether the bladder has still got the uninhibited
Are you going to
contraction.
become by doing urodynamic study?
Actually, sir, if there are still uninhibited contractions,
usually I will tell. Usually
let Dr. Gite.
at the end of 3 month sonography, when shows mild to moderate hydronephrosis, it is a normal finding majority time.
Very.
And
the most important thing.
Yeah, it is a mild reflux which will resolve probably in majority of the cases up to the 1 year. 1 year of follow-up, majority will resolve. If there is a gross hydronephrosis at the end of 3 months, as like in this patient, there are more chances of this patient having either a bladder bowel dysfunction or voiding dysfunction. So post-operatively screen and treat for the voiding dysfunction in such type of patients by doing urodynamics. I agree.
Is to keep the bladder low pressure always.
Yes, sir. And observe with antibiotic prophylaxis one of the way. Another way is doing the urodynamic and treating the urodynamic finding is another way. And if it is very small low-grade reflux at the end of 3 months, that will resolve by its own at the end of 1 year. So as per the finding, treatment of infection, keeping the bladder low pressure, and treatment of the voiding dysfunction, and assessing the grade of the reflux and treatment of the UTI. These are the some basic planning.
And also
Anyway,
treat.
I will just conclude what I am planning to do. I have started cephalosporin, sulbactam on her, and I have requested them, please come. I will be doing. I want to do cystoscopy. I want to find out that what is the problem in her urethra, because mother is saying that they have stopped CIC because she gets severe pain as well as the bleeding. So I want to see what is the problem. Are we missing something, or there is a secondary urethral stenosis or some carbuncle or anything?
They could have caused the false passage also, sir. Maybe they could have caused a false passage. Maybe.
So let me see. So this is what I want to do. If I'll come across something, I'll let you know, all of you. Okay,
Okay.
Yes.
fine. Anything, sir? Dr. Gita, you want to say?
Only one
Yes,
last
sir. It's,
question Archan wants to ask, that could we have waited for surgical treatment? Could we have deferred the
what?
Could we have waited on the surgical treatment in the form of reimplantation and instead continued with conservative treatment? And
Which
see
which patient have which grade reflex?
grade 5 passive massive reflux.
So what is the indication for surgical treatment? Is it come in that?
Correct.
So it was secondary reflux associated with gallbladder dysfunction. So he's asking that
Hi.
whether we could have done treatment of BBD.
Bowel bladder dysfunction. You want and the reimplantation. Results okay. Results are not good as like without bowel bladder dysfunction, but the results are better than any other type of treatment. Like observation, continuous antibiotic prophylaxis, endoscopic treatment, all three compared with surgical treatment. Surgical treatment is better than all three in the patient who is having bowel bladder dysfunction with grade 4, grade 5 UR. So the doing a surgery in this patient is indicated.
Plus, with this kind of dilated ureter reaching up to the knee, so much thickened, I don't think any conservative treatment would have worked. What do you think?
Okay, sir.
Okay, fine.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
That's
Hi,
it. That's the end of.
Okay.
Sorry,
Thank
there is
you.
one last question. When to
Yeah.
go for surgical procedure post reimplantation failure? So if you want to do a redo surgery, how long do you have to wait?
At
In-
least
in-
we'll wait
increase-
for a year to, for, as sir said, if it is
Yes.
low grade reflux post-operatively persistent, we'll wait for a year. And after a year, we'll do VCUG. And if it is
Sim-
persistent
sim-
reflux,
sim-
that then we'll revise.
Simple indication, the increasing hydronephrosis on ultrasound, appearance of the new scar, decrease, then the downgoing renal function, and continuous breakthrough here, that is UTI, several UTIs, in spite of antibiotic prophylaxis, then it is better to go inside, go in probably after 6 months to 1 year.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
The 1 year waiting is only for the small mild hydronephrosis with low grade reflux at the end of 3 months.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. That's it. No more questions, sir.
Okay,
Thank you,
thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good night.
Kiran,
Good
sir.
night.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, GRS, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.